So, Breach League is ending soon, and you're gonna need cheap powerful farming build for next league. And this build is just that, but above all, it is cool looking, because it has blue flames on the ground, sometimes. Well, we still don't know 2.6 patch notes, but we said we won't be nerfing double dipping in 2.6, most likely. And even if we did, this build is not double dipping, it's triple dipping, and I'll explain that later. So, the intention of this build was to be able to clear maps fast, and to farm currency that you will need for next builds. And damn, I was impressed with this build. It melts enemies so easily, but it has some drawbacks. And that's a good thing, because you'll have something that you will need to solve. Just keep in mind, this build was meant to be farming build, but not boss killing build. So certain bosses might be a big problem. And while farming I was gaining up to 150 million experience per hour above level 80, and that's with 5 linked level 19 gems. Also, this build is rather simple and should be good for new players. In video description you will also find passive skill tree, items, gems, links and all that stuff. Also, in case 2.6 changes drastically something that affects this build, I will also note that in video description. Now I'll quickly go over passive skill tree, some items, gems, links and then some more fun stuff. So, passive skill tree, elementalist, rush beacon of ruin, and then the fun starts. To avoid refunding points I just went left and up to life nodes and then fire nodes. Then left, mind over matter, elemental overload, more life nodes, and then it's up to you where you want to go first. Just do not neglect your mana pool. Now, early leveling might be a bit slow, but I was using Fireball from level 1. From level 8 link Fireball with lesser multiple projectiles, added lightning damage and you are good to go. From level 12, start using Scorching Ray with spell totem. Also use Orb of Storms linked with critical strike chance to trigger elemental overload. At level 18 you get Control Destruction gem, link it with Fireball, lesser multiple projectiles and added lightning damage. And once you get to Act 4 and get Castle Channeling and Curse on Hit, then the fun begins. And it was incredible how 4 link can do so much damage. So then I was using Scorching Ray linked with Castle Channeling, Fireball, lesser multiple projectiles. For bosses and tougher enemies I was using Orb of Storms linked with increased critical strike chance, Curse on Hit and flammability. Cast and damage taken Immortal Call increased duration setup, Stone Golem, Clarity and Lightning Warp. Only around level 65 when I got 5 link Searing Touch staff and I just added Control Destruction. But this staff is not a requirement. Now let's talk mechanics, how this build works. And if you are a new player you need to know these mechanics to increase your damage. First of all, fireballs do damage on hit and then they explode doing damage to surrounding enemies. This means hitting 3 enemies with 3 different fireballs close enough to each other basically triples your damage. Then Orb of Storms apply flammability curse and trigger your elemental overload which increases your damage. Then Scorching Ray lowers enemy resistance even more. And finally your fireballs apply ignite which burns enemies for additional damage. Now I should explain double dipping. In short, fire damage and elemental damage increases your fireball initial hit and ignited enemies burning damage, while spell damage would only increase fireball initial hit but not burning damage. So that is double dipping. But what is triple dipping? Well, for triple dipping you need more flames. For that you use Cloak of Flames and set yourself on fire. In addition, you also need some flaming weapon effect. Unfortunately I only had Brandus weapon effect, but if you want more power you should get Infernal weapon effect. The more flames you can put on yourself, the more powerful you will become. Maybe one day I'll be a big enough YouTuber and can afford better flaming effects. So that is triple dipping. Now let's take a look more about what I was able to do with this build. Did Soft Breach, did Ash Breach, then Toll Breach did me, then I successfully attempted Ul Breach, then Chayula run. You see me successfully wasting 250 hairs. Now let's go to red tier maps. Now you see tier 15 map with scary wall of text map mods. I don't know how about you, but I am afraid of wall of text. But still, clearing the map was really easy. The boss was a bit hard, but I did it without deaths. Next, Volcano. Tier 14. 42% increase monster life and it's still easy. Corrupted core map. And Feeble and Elemental Equilibrium. That seriously drops my damage. However, it's still okay. Mini bosses went rather okay. But the main fight, I did not have enough flames. A bit lower tier maps with triple damage map mods was still fine. Because I killed rather fast, I was never really in big danger. Of course, some bosses can be a big problem. Overall, this build is really good for farming. And of course it looks really cool. Now, I can already see your questions, but why not Firestorm? Personally, I don't like Firestorm, but also Fireballs has few advantages. With Fireballs, burning damage will be higher. Also, Fireballs hits enemies far off screen, and you do not need to target specific location. All you need to do is to turn in the right direction. For more defensive version, you could try using Doryani's Catalyst with a shield. Doryani's Catalyst is kind of expensive, but it gives some life leech. And for shield you can use Saffell's Frame. I haven't really tested this, because I couldn't get 5-link armor, but I think you might lose some damage. Of course, if you can get 6-link armor and add maybe something like Empower, then your damage should be fine. And of course there are other gimmicks how to increase your damage, like combining the Timing Ring and Emberwake Ring for some sick burning damage. But it would probably work better with Firestorm. Anyways, I'm sure there are many other ways to improve this build, but we'll see what 2.6 brings. So that's about all. You probably noticed that I'm using Valvetony Dead, and it is mostly for fun, but also for my next video. So until then, see you soon.